Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm Tandy. Today we're going to be playing Broncdos Midrange, a new take on Rakdos Mid. We are not vampires. We are not the traditional Rakdos Mid that you're used to. We are something in between. This deck harkens to the days of Jund in Modern, utilizing 2-drop creatures that have powerful effects to steamroll into the late game against decks that don't kill those creatures. Namely, the new addition to the format, Caustic Bronco. Let me get this display window on screen for you. So, Caustic Bronco, 2 cost, 2/2. It says, whenever it attacks you, reveal the top card of your library and put in your hand. You lose life equal to that card's mana value. And then if Caustic Bronco is saddled, instead it deals damage to your opponent for that mana value. And so, our goal is essentially to use Caustic Bronco as a draw engine against decks that don't put pressure on us. But against decks that do put pressure on us, we will side it out, and we will use it defensively, and we will draw cards with it as necessary. But we can also saddle it in matchups where dealing ourselves damage is rough. And our deck is just so chock full of cheap disruption and removal that it's basically easy to protect Bronco and easy to clear the way for Bronco. And then Bronco refuels and lets you keep doing it. Sometimes you take a little too much damage, so you have to be careful. But overall, I've been very happy with Caustic Bronco in this deck, in this format, in multiple decks in this format. And I'm just really excited to see what the future of Caustic Bronco really is. We're currently 2-0 in the league. I'm going to be starting from there, and we're going to be playing the last 3 matches. But long story short, we use Liliana the Veil to great effect. You know, we put pressure on our opponent's hand, their creatures, and we actually get to ultimate pretty quickly. We stretch them thin with things like Fable the Mirror Breaker, Blood Tithe Harvester, Caustic Bronco, and Shielder the Apocalypse. And then we use Liliana the Veil's ultimate to seal the deal. The Fatal Pushes and Thought Seizes are like the most generic interaction that you can ask for in terms of blanket protection. The Thought Seizes protect us from basically every deck that's not the most hyper-aggressive deck on the planet, and even then it's still fine in most of those spots. You usually side 1 or 2 out on the draw, maybe on the play you don't need any. But Fatal Push being the other effect that just is great against the aggressive decks. And while Thoughtseize covers you from the non-aggressive decks, Push covering you from the aggressive decks means that you basically have a 1-drop effect for any situation, which is a really powerful thing. You know, some of the most ridiculous decks that's ever been in Magic the Gathering have often been very dense in the 1 and 2-drop slots in order to take advantage of their strength in the early game, and it's up to our opponent to match. And here, instead of having a threat that's that thing, we get to play 2 answers that are that thing. And I like to compare Fatal Push to Swords to Plowshares in Legacy. If you've ever played Legacy, you'll understand what I mean. Swords is like the de facto best removal spell in Legacy. Lightning Bolt's also up there, but it doesn't really count as pure removal because it goes to the face. And it doesn't kill everything, especially these days. Fatal Push doesn't kill everything either, but it does kill everything under 4 cost with a little bit of help from Revolt. And it is about as close to Swords to Plowshares as you're going to get in Pioneer. Thoughtseize, on the other hand, is much more similar to Force of Will, where it systematically picks apart what your opponent is doing, and it's just the only thing holding the format together. If there weren't Thoughtseize, Duress would not be close to good enough. If there were Inquisition of Kozilek, then that would be the default over Thoughtseize, but we have Thoughtseize instead, which I think is personally better, because I think that the 2 damage matters a lot against the aggro decks, and it makes aggro decks a little bit more viable, whereas Inquisition is just an exceptional card. And I really hope that they never reprint it, because it would make Pioneer much more black-oriented in terms of color skewing. The removal spell of choice that we're choosing here is Shieldred's Edict in our 2-drop slot. That's to basically cover our bases against creatures and planeswalkers. Bitter Triumph dealing us some damage is a little bit awkward. Discarding cards is a little bit awkward. And so we're using Shieldred's Edict kind of complementary to Liliana the Veils, which will pressure our opponent's hand and edict them as well. So we might have some spots where one big monster gets kind of loose in the fight and we can't really contain it because we're mono edicts. But we have a lot of ways to contain the little things with Fatal Push, Bone Crusher Giant, and Liliana the Veil. And so we're hoping Shieldred's Edict can clean up the last few bits. We have a couple duress to keep our curve low and to keep the protection of Bronco high. We have 3 Shoulder of the Apocalypse on the top end. Tons of dual lands, some hives. We're still mutavaulting, and we're playing Shoulder's Edict also because we don't want to play Molten Collapse or Dreadboard, those types of things, because they're a little bit harder to cast and still play Mutavault. But when you play Leyline of the Veil, creature lands are really important because we want to empty our hand and still be able to pressure our opponent. And so we are basically tilting our mana base towards being able to do that by not overloading the double pip spot on 2. Sideboard, we have a smattering of things I think are okay to good, but this is by no means the best sideboard I could possibly build. This is just experimental stuff. We have a couple Damning Spheres for Lotus Field, a couple Trespasser for various situations. We need a little more threat density. We need a little more Graveyard Hate. It's just a great card, and it probably should be in the main deck. 3 Path of Peril for the aggressive creature decks. 1 Extinction Event to go with the Path of Perils for the creature decks. A Singleton Kalidas. This is going to be stellar against the mono-red strategies. 2 copies of Go Blank. This is our anti-graveyard of choice alongside Graveyard Trespasser. With so many duresses, I think Go Blank is solid. 1 Blot Out as an extra answer to the annoyance that is Vein Ripper. 1 Go for the Throat. 3rd Duress. And Cut Down as a 5th Fatal Push, basically. This is Broncdos Midrange. Let's play League. All right, this hand's great. We'll keep. We'd like 1 more spell, but overall, I'm pretty happy with this hand. Playing against Pseudomir. They'll probably take Lily. They could take Thoughtseize if they have a really good curve. Yep. Now we can play Blood Crypt Tap, though. I have Hive, so this might be Waste Not. If it's Waste Not, it's actually not great for me, but they didn't play Waste Not on 2, so it can't be that bad. I will like getting this Liliana down next turn, either edicting their Fable token or starting to hammer their hand. Lily of their own. Okay, so it's dueling lilies. I do think Waste Not is a bad matchup for most of these Rakdos style decks because they're effectively doing the same thing as us, but in a harder fashion. Inferior Deadlands. Most of the time when we would be pressuring with Hives and Mutavaults, they take control with Field of Ruin and such. Probably should have discarded this Lily. Oh, they're Bronco as well, so they're like mono black Bronco. So this isn't Waste Not. So we actually have a good shot, I think, of winning. Blood Chief's Thirst is fine. So we'll get their last card. I was hoping that we could get... one more thing down here, but that's fine. Alright, Shoulder does their last one. And now, if they don't draw the land for Hive, our Lily should dominate theirs. But if they draw land here and can pressure Lily, we're probably in trouble. Oh, it's because they draw discard. Nice. Alright, so let's hope that we draw something cool here to start playing out. Nice. Alright, so we'll go Edict, Planeswalker. And now if they draw the land for Hive, it's not necessarily even good enough. Okay, well, we can Edict this Misery Shadow. I think we're going to do that over going for Ultimate. And now we're still in trouble if they draw the land, but we're not losing. I mean, we're basically even Stevens, but we are ahead. And so now it's just in top deck mode. But again, they're doing something very similar to us, but they're just sticking with mono black. Alright, well, we'll play the Shieldred, and that should be game. Nice. Okay, so in the mirror matches, I think we want some more things that are tough to kill. A little more 2-for-1 action. I don't think we want Path of Peril. Blot Out's probably not good enough. Extinction Event, maybe not. Go for a Throat is okay. The discard spells are important for taking away exactly Lily, but I think that with our Shielders Edicts, the Lilies aren't that bad. So I think we want to basically decrease our discard count a little bit and increase our threat density a little bit. And so if we want to do that, I do like to go for a threat. I like being able to kill their stuff. Maybe we go down to 2 Thoughtseize. But they have Bronco, so we can't cut push. And they also have the other one. Let's do this. Let's just trim on discard a little bit. We'll be a little more threat dense. And if they go the other direction, then that means their top decks are going to be much worse. Any thoughts on Hostile Investigator versus Shelly? Personally, I like Shieldred, but I do think Hostile Investigator is good, and I think that there are some decks that definitely want it. Namely, I think it's good in like a Gigantha deck. Like if you go Golgari Gigantha or something, it seems great there. Alright, they're on 6. That's good. Every little piece matters. Duress will hit my edicts. Unfortunate that Duress hits. Alright, we found another edict. That's great news in case I draw Bronco. Stomp is way better for this thing. That's so strong. I considered playing Mono Black. I actually had Asylum Seeker where they have Misery Shadow. Alright, we're going to play this on red so we don't get screwed on colors. And we'll play Bone Crusher, and the next turn we can either play Cletus or Double Creature. It depends on what they do, but I like using my mana efficiently against the discard decks. Hostile Investigator. I think I'm going to pitch the Cletus because I want to use my mana. But actually it's probably Harvester, so I'm going to go Bronco Edict. Each opponent sacks a non-token creature. Alright, we discard Mutavault. And we'll attack with probably just Bone Crusher, but it depends on if we draw an answer to the hostile. I might hold this Takenuma. We're going to attack and offer a trade. I think I'm going to play it. I really don't want to get hit with another Hostile Investigator or Lily Tick Up or similar and give them another clue. So they start by popping clue. That's a good sign. What's up, Mono Red? What's up, Nick? How's it going? Misery's Shadow. So this can only be a 4/4, so we can definitely attack with these two. OG was fun yesterday? Yeah. The Erangel map was great. I think I go for the sacrifice here. I think it's worth. They have to have 2 cost removal targeted. They can push it after. And I think that that's what they have, which is why I did it. Oh, they pop clue. Interesting. Okay, so let's hope they don't have Big Sweeper here. Deadlands is sick for them. They can kill the Bronco. Alright. Alright, well, we're going to keep this one the draw with the Fatal Push and a 2-drop and some interaction otherwise. Hopefully we draw some mana, but that's basically every time I play any deck. Alright, Golgari. Let's see what deck they are. Wonder if everybody's bucking Broncos today. If they play Bronco of their own, I'm not sure I'm going to push it. I might just stomp it. Stomp probably doesn't have that many great targets in this type of a matchup. And Fatal Push can maybe take out a Shieldred later on. Dread. Okay, so a Roots deck. Oh no. Chat, we might be in trouble. I'm going to get Bronco down. We really need to draw some lands, and so Bronco can help do that. Thoughtseize, something cheap we can play next turn alongside Stomp on Bone Crusher. Brutal. Brutal. Land? Same thing. I don't care if they tick up. We'll probably discard a Fable. Priest and Miner. Miner plus Roots is gross. But it can't block. Alright, so we'll go... push this thing. Attack Lily. Now the question is, do I want to stomp or kill the miner? And I think I just want to kill the miner and hope that they don't have a way to commit crime. And then we just kind of have to beat Miner Roots. Miner Roots is hard if they have anything that targets. I'll probably bring in like Go Blanks, and I think something like Unlicensed Hearse would be really good as well. Alright, we'll go Shieldred plus we'll activate the Bronco. Takenum is fine. They will be able to get back multiple miners next turn. We're going to just hope that them not being able to block helps us enough. Alright, they took 4. That's a big swing. So we might be able to kill them with shoulder damage. I'm excited about that prospect. Tyvar Priest is gross. Ooze with Roots is cool. Alright. We are in trouble now. Oh, we're just dead now. This deck is so cracked. This deck is so cracked. And we have like no way to kill this enchantment either, so I think we're just dead. But they're not gaining life, so maybe Shoulder will kill them. I doubt it, but we'll see. Maybe I should have played Thoughtseize and Bone Crusher last turn instead of the Shieldred. Alright, you win. Let's go for Go Blank, Politis, Extinction, Path, Trespasser. I think I'm going to cut Harvester, but I like Bronco. Bronco felt like it could have been good there. Lily's probably not worth. Something like this. Yeah, I know, Nick. It's starting to pick up steam. They're like moving away from infinite combos and just kind of doing more powerful, not more powerful, but less complicated stuff. All right, this hand is pretty good. But again, I think this is probably a nightmare matchup. We just have no real answers to the card Insidious Roots. We're going to have to hope to get a little lucky to beat them. Pick your poison. Pick your poison, huh? I think it's Cauldron. I just don't really have good answers to Cauldron. I guess they're afraid of Leyline. It's a good draw. Next turn we can go push Thoughtseize if we don't draw the land. Alright, Thoughtseize, a couple pick your poison. Guess we just take a priest. I don't know, man. It's tough. I'm hoping that the extinction event gets to take out the scrap heaps at some point, but I'm not confident that we're going to make it that long. Maybe I should have took Scrounger so that if I draw land, I can go blank them. Each opponent sacks a non-token creature. Get him out of here! Get him out of here! Well, Haywire might. Forsaken Miner, okay. So we're giving them targets for Haywire, pick your poison and stuff, but this is going to take time away from them so they can't get Scrap Heap out. Ah. They should have attacked first. Alright, well, we're definitely going to attack, and then I guess we'll just play Bone Crusher to play some defense, but maybe I should go for... Actually, I'll just go blank. They'll have Scrap Heap, Forsaken Miner versus my couple things. And then we can maybe Extinction Event Otter even at some point. But I like getting their last two cards. One of which is... Oh, they're both Pick Your Poison, I guess. But we also get one of the Scrap Heaps as well. Why not go blank last turn? I don't know. They just had pressure in play, and you're probably right. Probably should have. Look, man, I just trust whatever my dumb brain says. My dumb brain said play Fable. We're all victims of our own dumb brains. Matt, I don't think that it's an auto loss, but I don't think that's a great idea, and I would not really recommend it. Alright, so they're not killing us, and we can threaten lethal over 2 attacks, so let's just do that. And just hope that we don't die. I too have a little dumb brain. See, I'm not going to play Extinction in this turn, so just get a land tapped. So they can put us to 1. We can Extinction Event even. Oh no. Roots is gross. Okay, so let's go back for 6. And we will just hold up Hive to block Miner and then Fatal Push the Scrounger. And we'll die to another Boseiju or Fatal Push or something. Damn. We got beat, chat. No lander, unfortunate. Alright, this hand is pretty good. I think I'm going to play tap land first. Because they're not guaranteed to play a 1-drop. And I don't necessarily want to take damage. And maybe I just put back Harvester. I really like the idea of 2-drop into 2-drop Fatal Push on 3. So let's do that. So let's go turn 2 Bronco, turn 3 Harvester, Crew, Fatal Push. Okay, well, if I knew I was playing Zora's Control, I would have obviously chosen differently. Let's hope they don't have Get Lost or similar, so we get to draw a card off of our Bronco. But getting it down under No More Lies here is great. Let's go. Let's move to attacks, and if they kill this, we'll play Lily, and if they don't, we'll just lose out on potential Harvester. I think that's fine. If we get to draw the card, I'm just like super happy. Plus, we can draw 1 mana discard. All right, I'm gonna play Harvester in hopes that they don't have a counter, but I want to wait for them to play a sweeper before I play Lily, I think. All right, well, we didn't play around Censor, but that's okay. I haven't seen a Censor in a long time, and it is what it is. Cossack Bronco is clearly the thoroughbred of sin. Is that something from the Bible? Sounds like something from an Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode. Dr. Horrible. Oh, and the sing along was it Dr. Horrible in the sing along blog? Something like that? Alright, let's try for Liliana the Veil. Discard this Fatal Push, probably. See if they counter this. If they counter this, we get to draw another card. But if they play... Okay, that's fine. Now we get to attack for 4 and draw another card. Wish I had drawn a few more creatures. The Shieldred Edicts and Fatal Pushes are a little lackluster here, but that's why the horse is so good, man. It's made matchups like this much better. They're probably going to play Wandering Emperor and kill this. But if they do, we can kill the Wandering Emperor with Mutavault, which is another reason why Bronco's good, because it forces them to act. Liliana's a great draw. So they're probably going to play Deluge. So let's go ahead and cast Lily. We'll pitch one of the lands, I guess. I kind of want to keep this Fatal Push in case they play Shark. But I might need the mana. So let's discard it and put Black Cleave down. Close playing Lotus. Is that what the gates mean? Yeah, discontinuity? Okay. So we're probably going to get hit with like Sweeper here, but it's not even that good. Farewell doesn't hit Planeswalkers, right? We might get hit with discontinuity on our upkeep. Mono Red redeemed Neon Wilson. Wow! Wow! Alright, I have one more thing for this. Wow! Wow! Yeah, you get it. Wow! Alright, well, we'll threaten lethal. We have Edicts or Shieldred. They're ending our turn now, but we got to draw cards, so that's fine. They let us draw a card. Candy Gandhi redeemed the blue steel. That was blue steel. Is that good? Alright, so we'll go... This resolves. We'll edict both things. So we go each opponent sacks a non-token creature. Each opponent sacks a planeswalker. And now shoulder plus what we have in play should be good enough. We can even crew the cross of Bronco. What happened to the price of Hostile Investigator? On Magic Online or IRL? Apparently it went up. I mean, it's a mythic rare that's pretty good, but it's definitely not better than Shieldred in most black decks, so I don't really know. All right, so we want a bunch of disruption. We do want the Damping Spheres, but we're gonna go Duress, Damping Sphere, Go Blank, Trespasser. The Blot Out's okay, not great. It's just another Shieldred's Edict, and I think 3 is enough. Duress good, Fatal Push bad. Harvester Bronco great, Bone Crusher mid. Maybe we can trim a Harvester. Maybe we don't need to bring in all this stuff. They don't really do graveyard stuff that much. Let's just do one Trespasser. They're gonna have a lot of sweepers, so it's not that good. Alright, well, a lot of discard here. This could go either way. I think I'm gonna lead with Thoughtseize so I can take Proctor from them. Normally I lead with Duress Against Control because their late game creatures are usually not something that I want to take. Well, Lily might change that. We'll still Thoughtseize first, though. Okay. Their hand is pretty weak, all things considered. Just a bunch of top end. So if we draw a 2-drop threat here, that's really nice. We can pressure their lands, or we can pressure their hand quite a bit. All right, we'll play the Harvester here. Yo, Interrupter Jones! Thanks for 16 months, homie. Welcome back. Appreciate you. All right, so they're probably going to Lotus Field this turn. No, they didn't. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's attack and see what it means. All right, so I think we'll just go Duress. Because we don't want to have our thing get hit with Counterspell, and they're probably going to play Counterspell this turn. Yeah. And now Duress again. 2 Lotus Field and a Thespian Stage. So they're all lands. All lands, no breaks. They played Thespian Stage. So they're trying not to sack. We'll go plus on the Lily. I think we're going to discard Fable, honestly. The Go Blank here is just going to, like, maybe seal the deal. I was thinking about playing Go Blank that turn instead, but I want to get the Lily down so we can threaten the ultimate. Wow, what a top deck. Well, that means Go Blank's actually going to be good next turn, as opposed to bad. Oh, that's cool, Moons. The mill decks are sweet, man. Well, Ladoja, I don't know if you know this, but Liliana of the Veil was not in Pioneer for a long time. It was reprinted like a year or two ago, and it just didn't quite break through because Fable the Mirror Breaker. And then once the Vampire version of the deck started popping up, you know, similar reasons, just didn't have the ability to fight through. But Bronco changes things, and Lily is great. Lily's just a fantastic Magic card. What's up, Flip Man? How's it going? All right, so we'll get their last cards in hand. We have 2 Mutavaults. They have no hand, no graveyard. They'll have 1 card in the graveyard here from the Lily. But we have to go blank before we plus. But we have 7 damage coming through next turn with the lands. No, you're right, Doja, though. Like, it is a different era, and it's... Oh! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god, what a top of deck! What a top of deck, chat! I believe blue-white is favored against Phoenix, but don't quote me on that. Alright, we'll make them discard one of those two. Put them for 5. We're not lethaling them next turn, though, which kind of stinks. Well, Float Mana, if you ask nicely, dude, I'm sure people will let you borrow a deck. If you come up to me and say, hey, I'm Float Mana from your stream, I would like to borrow a deck for this tournament, I will ask the owner to lend you a deck. All right, chat. Azorius Control defeated. Lotus Field no match for Damping Sphere. So we went 4-1. 2 of our matches were off stream. So let's talk about what we did see and what we didn't see. Off stream, I beat Phoenix one time, and I beat a. Actually, I forgot. We can just go check. Instructed. All right, so let's check out. So I played 2 matches last night just to see if the deck felt good. We mulliganed to 5. That's right. We mulliganed to 5 in our first match, and we played Blue Eye Control, and we went Thoughtseize Bronco and easily defeated them, chat. And like that is just something that can happen in a low resource game where Bronco just carries. And even though they had the answer to it, this Liliana chewed them up. So how do I stop watching? Anyway. So I beat Blue Eye Control a couple times. I don't recall. How do I get back to that screen? Man, it's so. Anyway, let's just talk about the deck things I liked and didn't like. First of all, Liliana the Veil, Bronco, excellent together. I think that the pressure that one brings makes the other much stronger. Your opponent tries to block, you have Edict. Your opponent tries to pressure the Bronco, Liliana comes down when the shields are turned off and starts chewing up their hand. I ultimated Liliana the first game I played it yesterday, and I thought, oh, I think we really did it. The Bloodtithe Harvesters, obviously one of the better 2-drops you have access to, but in this build, it is inferior to Caustic Bronco. It's a defensive 2-drop. It does kill an opposing creature or whatever, but the best thing about it is that it just has 3 power for 2 mana. And so you can actually apply pressure pretty well for just 2 mana. And then you can turn on a dime and start doing something else to kill creatures, make Fable copies of it to kill more creatures. And we don't have the vampire sub-theme, but I think that that's fine. Bloodtithe Harvester has been the de facto 2-drop in Rakdos for a while, and I think for a good reason. But there's a chance that these should just be inties, I guess. You know, Inti Bronco to have 2 different 2-drops that can kind of accrue card advantage while we have Lily in play. Because honestly, Harvester looked good, but it didn't look great. And if we're kind of going in a more aggressively slanted direction, you know, the Harvesters are really good at pressuring the blue-white decks, pressuring the Lotus Field decks, and trading for an opposing 2-drop. But at this stage of the format, the opposing 2-drops are pretty insane. And it doesn't actually kill that many 2-drops anymore. So maybe it's time to move on. I don't know if you noticed this, but also Liliana the Veil makes Fable the Mirror Breaker much worse. We are very low on resources basically at all times, from heavy discard early Liliana pluses. And Fable is really strong when you are high resource and just kind of flooding a bit. But that basically never happens because of our plussing. And so it's possible that this is like a reason to just cut red. And if we cut red, we have something that looks like this, and we can fill in these 10 cards with cards from any color. And very similarly to how we were playing with Slickshot Show Off in Mono Red, we can pair that with green for Tarkus Command, Blossoming Defense, Audacity. We can pair it with white for Chain to the Rocks, Pia, Showdown of the Scalds wedding announcement. This deck can basically do the same thing, and I think honestly I think that this core is kind of cracked. You know, the 50 like the dual lands here obviously can go, but like, you know, if the green cards are just like Mosswood Dread Knight, Glissa, Sunslayer, Tireless Tracker, that type of thing, it's possible that that's like the way that we want to go. But the core of Bronco, Lily, Shieldred's Edict, and these 10 one-mana spells, I think adds a lot. Or I think is a great core and just needs a little bit of help. And the 2 Bone Crushers have felt awesome. The Fable, the Mirror Breakers, and Blood Tithe Harvesters have felt weak. And so I don't really know where to progress from here. But this is literally just like the rough draft of the deck. We played a similar build on Monday, but I didn't have Lily. And I think Lily was really the missing link. And so I'm excited to see what else Lily can do. Make sure to check out our sponsors. Apex Gaming is a game store out of Caldwell, Ohio. You can check out their store and website at apexgaming.gg. Russ Mayer and myself will be heading up there on Friday this week to do commentary for their Team Open on Saturday for Apex Con. And on Sunday, we'll be doing commentary for the Modern Open at Apex Con. And these will all be broadcast live on twitch.tv/apexgamingmtg. Thank you so much to Moxfield.com. Moxfield is a great resource for building and sharing deck lists. You can hit ! deck or deck list in our chat to find my Moxfield page with all of our lists, including this one. That way you can copy paste it and play it yourself very easily. You can also use Moxfield to do all sorts of brewing and change the deck yourself. It's a great website. Thank you so much to Moxfield for sponsoring the channel. Also, Games and Comics Paradise is a game store out of Fairfax, Virginia, specializing in trading cards. You can check out their website, gcparodice.com, and get singles for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and now also Disney's Lorcana. So if you're missing some Lorcana singles, make sure to check out Games and Comics Paradise, and you can check them out at their home store in Fairfax, Virginia, if you're in the area. I write articles on my Patreon, including sideboard guides for Slickshot Show Off, Rakdos Vampires, and I'll likely be doing something for Caustic Bronco very soon. I am Caustic Bronco Pilled. I've written a bunch of mini articles and some full-size articles about various cards and decks in Pioneer since the RCQ season started, but the sideboard guides specifically take a little more time and finesse, and they require an intense knowledge of the archetype. And when I get a better knowledge of this Bronco stuff down, I'll be able to come back to you. But Bronco looked good, man. Bronco looked great. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging. I'm Tandy. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll see you later. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button.